today.
Yes. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back, Labyrinthers. We have here Charlie and myself, Miss Tizzle, co-host.
Tizzle!
Yeah.
Happy Jupiter's Day, y'all.
Yes, happy Jupiter's Day. Or whatever timeline you're reaching us from.
That's
We
that.
see you, past, present, and future. So, shall we
All
start
right,
with our
y'all.
mission?
So, as you know, right, we are the Cosmic Labyrinthers, and just want to give you a little bit of goodness so that you are grounded and rooted into who we are and what we're about, right? The cosmic portals have opened, and we are awakening to a rehumanizing cosmic consciousness where everyone can discover their cosmic powers. This is an important time where we learn to build and experience heart-centered technology that connects us to the natural world and our inner selves. We at the Cosmic Labyrinth are a multidimensional and ever-evolving experience where children and inner children are empowered to live with curiosity and cosmic consciousness. We are developers, artists, healers, and scientists building on inter-evolutionary gaming platform that is a nexus of knowledge about ancient cultures, mystic wisdom, and self-care. We currently curate educational play shops online and in person that reconnect us to the wisdom of the elements and the science and spirituality inherent in them. Thank y'all for joining us for another show. We are so grateful and excited to be here with you, for you, to just help you tap into all those things. Thank you for being here. Ashe.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So let us start with our I guess our cosmic weather, right? I guess with the modern day weather people too, right?
Yes.
Remember back in the days when people had to use this, was it green screens, right, for the weather?
We're
We
like that,
kind
but
of,
like modified.
yes. I mean, now this is the modern tech age, right? So we have all kinds of new tools. So we're all talking from our computers, but like we're today's like new broadcasting network, right? Where TV was where we were getting most of our information. Today we have the internet, and it shows how like everyone is now someone that can actually access the information and share the information. So this is kind
Yes.
of like our version of sharing information from, I guess, our collective frequencies and vibrations.
100%. The interweb is where it's at, and it's really helped. It's helped me personally just to connect, because like, just think about it. We met via the interweb, right?
Yes,
Because of like things I saw online, and then us like, oh, let's connect and like let's make this happen. Like on some mycelial type stuff. Like you're over in Texas and I'm over here in LA, but we're communicating, baby. We're communicating.
exactly. And we're gathering more people, right?
Yeah.
And so this is really great because it really shows also what's going on even in the astrological chart, right? Where
Yeah.
we're in Leo season, right? We just entered in a few, less about a week now. And here we have a new moon with the sun and the moon in conjuncting in Leo. And right now, 2:30 here in Houston, 12:30 in LA. There's a north node in, I'm not north node, rising in Scorpio, but we have kind of like this half of a fixed frost, right? We have Mercury in Leo,
Yeah.
over here with Uranus in Taurus,
Mm.
Saturn in Aquarius, and I guess the south node in Scorpio. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah. So it's like all the fixed signs are kind of set right now, and the kind of like the midheaven, the top of the whole experience is really the Leo energy. So it's a lot of, I feel like, the new leaders of what we consider this new earth or this new vibration. I think a lot of there was like another cycle that just ended, the July 25th. Apparently we're like, did you hear the galactic new year, July 25th, 26th is a new cosmic galactic year where I think we just ended. This is
Oh yeah, the Mayan thing. I did see
the
that.
sun is made a revolution around the Milky Way, and he takes, okay, I don't quote me on that, I forget what it was, like 230,000 years, or million years that it takes. So we apparently completed a cycle of that. And yesterday, July 27th and 26th was the first day, like New Year's Day of this end of this 230 million something cycle. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So
There's a powerful time. Like there's no denying that what we're experiencing and going through is probably the first time that this has happened in like generational lifetimes. Like not just us, but like our parents and our grandparents. Like all of these things that are happening have never happened in any of our lifetimes or their lifetimes. And it's just like
exactly. And so there's another cycle that's repeating, which is now if we're looking here to the descendant here in the 6th, 7th house with Mars in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, and the North Node in Taurus. I feel like this there hasn't been a conjunction like this since 325 BC. So it's been 2,300 years ago, right? That this happened, this conjunction happened. So
what?
when we think about astrology, it's also like when conjunctions happen, when was the last time this conjunction happened in time? Because the same theme in our experiences, in our lives, in our history will repeat. And so when we really bring up this idea of reincarnation and past lives, imagine now your spirit having incarnated back in 325 BC, right? And how like
Right.
we know each other 2,300 years. Maybe we did. And maybe that's why at this conjunction again, 2,300 years later, we are connecting again and feel maybe called to this mission. I don't know. It's just super interesting.
I co-sign that. I feel it.
Yes.
I mean, the way that we, ever since, we've started this adventure and this journey together, I mean, the way we can finish each other's sentences. And then that one time, which y'all will do this maybe live one day, but when we were doing the like, let's see if we can read each other's minds. And like I picked up on the dolphin.
Yeah, it's fun,
Crazy.
it's fun to practice psychic games, and I think like if we can normalize that, oh man, I'm really excited for those days, right? When we can normalize that and not think that it's something weird or some devil things. I mean, I'm glad we're
100%
past that.
agreed. Yes, and that we're going to help you do that, because the more you can tap in and not just feel like those experiences are flukes, or like, oh wow, what a coincidence. There's no coincidences, y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
It's on game. Just no
Yeah.
coincidences. Like all of this, we're operating in this in the matrix, in our simulation.
Exactly. Yeah. And the idea that when a lot of energy congregates, that's when you can shift energy, right? Because that's when you create a vortex, and enough gravity will show up where there's a lot of consciousness or energy of people, that it could shift, because people will have to pay attention, right? This is where like when
Yes.
people gather together as protests, like people pay attention and it shifts the consciousness, right? That's why if we talk about even time travel, this idea that that's why JFK, right? I'm sure everybody in time travel has talked about, trying to, avoid the JFK shooting. Yet, here we are all still remembering the JFK shooting. So for some reason, it's a very big milestone in our timelines,
Huge.
right?
Yes.
So looking back at this chart, it's when in astrology, the planets are always moving different speeds, right? But it's when they come together. So if you see here, we kind of have like almost a conjunction here with the Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Leo, and then we got a conjunction here with Uranus, Mars, and North Node, right? And so it just means that there's power that's congregated there, right? So it's a very exciting time to see changes happening. I think to me, the Taurus changes are like very much farmland. We're like the last couple of weeks, months, we've been talking about this regeneration of soil and really bringing soil to the forefront of our conversations. And that's very much that Uranus Taurus, right? Which is the spiritual rebellion that like, hey, the earth has spirit, and we have to
deeply
recognize that.
There's I will link it in our comments for the show, but Vandana Shiva, right? powerful just being who has literally been causing things to shift since 1984. She's
Mm,
been like in this so deep, I mean, practically my lifetime.
yeah.
But she has this really powerful video where she's talking about all the things that have been occurring and why they are the way they are right now. And so if you have no awareness, if you're kind of confused, if you're like, how did this happen? Please take the time to watch this video because it's really enlightening. And it's enlightening because it gives you baseline information so you have a better understanding of how to navigate and the things that you can personally do to help shift the dynamic of things that are happening within your community, which is what we're doing here with the Cosmic Labyrinth, and how we have these events where we're all about regenerative soil and like doing things to like heal the oil, the earth and the energy whenever we like go into spaces. So it's like, it's not about this victim, woe is me, I can't do anything. Because this, like, if you look at the astrology right here, right, the North Node in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, and then you got Mars in Taurus, which is all about action. And like Taurus being deeply about earth, security, stability, like resources. This is a time to really like root into like, what can I do, right? And not necessarily defer to this external outward thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the fixed signs are very much to me like that energy that's gonna do and stubborn about it, right? A lot of us kind of see things as like, oh, you're so stubborn about your need to do it this way. But
Hmm.
usually those signs are really the more powerful ones who can continue to do the things that they're supposed to do, no
Yeah.
matter what people are saying, right? No matter what's going on in the world. And so it's very powerful that we have this very strong square, which people see that as tension, but like that tension gives you actually that perfect tension that keeps things almost like in perfect harmony, right? It's always showing us kind of like the four pieces that you need. And so right now with the all the conjunction or the new moon in Leo kind of shows that bringing that coming from your heart's passion will kind of
Yes.
align you to the changes of the earth that's happening, because the changes of the earth is very much Taurian fixed energy. And so if we live fixed in our heart space, right, being able to be the leader of our heart and really bring out our heart's passion, will be aligned with what's going on to this Taurus energy on the planet. And then obviously we can talk about the rising in Scorpio, but we don't, because I'm sure everybody's experiencing, from governments, politics, industries to our personal lives, where we're experiencing a lot of letting go of death and old paradigms. So
Yes.
yes, and I'm
Bye.
sure plenty of YouTube and videos out there talking about the end of the old. So we won't
Yeah.
have to go into that today.
We're keeping it high vibrational, y'all. Not
Yeah.
bypassing or avoiding, but being very intentional about the container and space that we're holding with y'all.
And what's really important is during a change, during these changes, it's going to be up to the ones who are fixed in their passions and their who they are. That's gonna be still around when the shakeup happens. And we still need
Yes.
people who are authentic to what they're doing. So I feel like a lot of us who've really done a lot of our shadow work have really dealt with how to really come together now and like drop our shadow problems, so that we can deal with actually dealing with awesome leaders in the world, right? Coming together and changing from grassroots, not trying to gain a huge audience to do work, but like it's everyday people actually going out there and helping, right?
Truly. And the last thing too, well, maybe not last thing, but talking about the leader showing up. So you have the sun in Leo. You also have Mars and Taurus, like two leaders, right? Very rooted, very fiery, very powerful. But if you look at the middle of that, you see where Venus is. And then it's Venus in Cancer, which is the mother, but it's also that feminine energy, and it's in the 8th house.
Mhm.
So really take time to nurture your inner self, because when you are honest and you're able to like pull these things out that are typically unseen and actually look at them and figure out how to integrate that like unseen, shadowy, like emotional depth energy into the things that you want to do, into the things that you want to manifest, into the things that you want to become, it'll be really balanced, right? Because if it's too much fire, you're gonna burn the fucking house down, right? So
Right.
you need that watery energy to help balance it. And again, when you think about the elements, always think about how to balance your elements as much as possible, because it'll just, instead of like being like this, you'll be, you know, more centered and grounded and able to really like bring forward the things that you want to do and like get the downloads, right? Water, right? In the eighth house, get the downloads for the things that you really deeply want to do, as opposed to just coasting on the surface and doing the things that you're supposed to do. Use this full or new moon and Leo energy to like tap into that and manifest the highest, bestest version of yourself, because the energy is allowing for it. The energy is
Yes.
allowing for it. And dude, okay, wait. The energy is not only allowing for it, but in the fifth house, we got Jupiter and Aries, y'all. Okay?
Yes.
You want to talk about
Yes.
expansion? You want to talk
Yes.
about like
Trining, right? Trining the full moon, I mean the new moon, right? In Leo. So they're supporting energies, right? The Aries energy, you know,
yes,
the self, you know, and that Aries energy in the fifth house is beautiful because it's kind of like we're all kind of finding our inner child and bringing it out, being
yes,
abundant with it, right? In a way
yes.
that's supporting really this Leo passion of leading from the heart, right? Because when we are in
Mm,
tune with our inner child is when we really come from leading from the heart, right? Like we haven't been hurt, right? Is that
yeah,
whole space of unconditional love in the heart.
so real. And I just, Saturn and Aquarius, man, in
Holding it
y'all,
down, for
just
Saturn holding it
be
down
real
this
with
year.
yourself. Be real with yourself right now, okay?
Oof.
Don't, when it's dignified like this, don't play, y'all. Don't play yourself, because if not, you'll get checked. Don't, be true to
Yeah.
yourself. You know, feel from your heart, speak from your heart, like listen from your heart, like make sure it's all just real. Otherwise, if it's not real,
Yes. I think it's like authenticity, right? Come from a space authenticity.
100%,
Yeah. Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
Mm,
Otherwise, the time of what's going on with the conjunction right now will kind of knock you off, knock you off your seat
big time.
big time. If
Yeah.
you're not really being authentic and leading from the heart space
It's not the
with
time for
with a little bit of
fakeness.
nurturing of yourself, right? With Venus here.
Yes. Like give yourself some hugs, right? Take time to like journal, take time to do things that feel good, but like don't go too crazy with the indulging, right? Because don't get so caught up in this like, oh, I feel good taking care of myself. Take action still, right? All this fire, you got Leo, and then you got Aries, and you got Taurus and Mars. Like still go time, but take care of yourself time. And that is something that I know a lot of us struggle with. But like we were saying earlier, it's time to normalize the ability to like have drive, have ambition, but then take a break and take care of what you need to take care of so that you can fully show up and be of service the way you want to be. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I like to bring it back to some Chinese medicine because that's what I'm
Yes.
studying right now.
Bring it, Charlie.
So
Bring it.
So right now with the summer, right? Everybody's really excited to be out in the summer, but remember, we're warm-blooded people, right? And we actually heat up. And so actually it goes back to this whole astrology where like Leo's great, but if you overindulge, right, you overgo out in that sun, right? No matter,
Mm.
how much pigmentation you have, right? Like it's gonna burn you, right? And so this is what we experience as sunburn, but we also experience is actually internally as inflammation. And
Ah.
inflammation is what everybody's kind of like, it's a big like, ooh, let's not talk about inflammation, but everybody's got it because
Yep.
this heat that's happening within us is not being able to be relieved. And so this is
Mm.
where this Cancerian energy, right? The lymphatic system or the waters, our tears that go inside of us and flush through our heat, right? That's why when we're hot,
Mm.
we sweat, the water comes out to cool us off, right? You want the
Yes.
Cancer energy to come on. It's really the mother who goes, come here. No, mom, I want to play in the sun. come here so you can play longer, but like she dresses you up, puts on some, whatever sunscreen, whatever. We get that cream on your nose, right? But just so you can handle it, right? And that's that
Yes.
motherly energy that, yes, go have fun, but like you still need to mother yourself, right? All of us have these capacity to like be our parents too, and remember that like, hey,
Dude,
let's not overdo that, like living from the heart space and forgetting like, taking care of yourselves or other people as well.
parenting ourselves, y'all.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
what I just heard right now. Oh,
yeah.
Charlie. Ooh,
Ooh,
ooh.
yes.
Our Leo rising spelled that.
Yes. But let's play a
Parenting
bit of
ourselves.
escapism now and skip that conversation for maybe another episode. We do not want to open that door yet.
No.
Let's,
We both felt it though. It was like,
yeah,
oh.
I know, totally. It's like, ooh, I think the whole country, the whole planet right now is, the truth is like, let's parent ourselves a little bit better,
Yes, yes. Let's break the generational curses. Still give thanks and gratitude for, what has transcended because it helped get us to where we are. But moving out of those modalities and moving into a level of authenticity and genuineness and sincerity that, our parents maybe weren't willing to do. But like, here we are, y'all, ready.
Exactly. Right. Or like the upgrades of our parents, right? Our genetics.
Major.
Yeah.
I love that. The upgrades
Express,
for real.
yeah, express the two, right? You're the one that's mixing the two.
That makes my heart
Okay.
happy.
So you feel complete with this weather report?
Yes. And like
Okay.
anytime like y'all have questions about anything we say, just message us, send us a comment.
Yes,
I
please.
love you for it.
Yes. We're new, we're still trying to build our audience and see what kind of conversations people want to talk about.
Thank you, friend.
Yes. So actually we probably have about 8 minutes before we actually have a guest that we bring on the show today. So we'd love to, really excited to bring her on the show. But before that, we can kind of have the topic of the conversation for today, which matches kind of what's going on with the cosmic weather,
Yep.
is really how do we lead in our lives now that we've talked about, last week we talked about some of our woes in education, and really that's kind of our fundamentals where we grew up, and society told us that we kind of went into the system, learn kind of what we needed to learn in education, we come out to become the leaders of tomorrow. And how many of us kind of feel super lost, like clearly no role models to live by, right?
Right.
And so we don't, and then they're not supporting maybe some of our passions that have developed and evolved since our parents' days. So what's really exciting is to be able to actually show the positive side of what are some people doing in community in our own kind of world, leading from our heart space and seeing like how we trying to adjust and complement what education really needs. How do we support each other in the community, right? Because education is sharing knowledge.
Yes. Deeply. Oh, wow. I love this. And I'm really excited for the guest we have today. Like she'll be on in a few minutes. But her name is Gwenna Hunter, and I've known her. It's only been 3 years, but y'all, it seemed like a lifetime. And it's similar to how Charlie and I were describing, like maybe these conjuncts and transits that are happening right now is literally just our spirits like reconnecting so that we can do the work that we're supposed to be doing here, the mission that we signed up for. And I got an opportunity to work with her last week, and it was a really powerful experience. And honestly, I feel changed because of the catalyzing energy that I felt, not only being involved, but getting to connect, y'all, because it's about connection, right? Interweb, right? All of this. And coming out of this space and experience, not really being able to connect with people the way you wanted to or the way you're used to, but now coming out of that and then realizing like there are other ways to connect with people that go deep, but also are of service to them and help like be in service to yourself as well. So it's gonna be good, y'all.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And so you had the opportunity to go to one of her events, right? The food bank in LA, and
Yeah.
you did some recording. So
I
we'd love to be
did.
able to share that with the audience today. So I get to also see it for the first time. So you kind of get my reaction, everybody. All right,
I
so
love it.
okay, so let's. Music is good.
Yeah.
And this was yesterday.
Here with the Cosmic Labyrinth down, and I'm about to embark on a really beautiful experience, getting to volunteer at Gwenna Hunter's vegan food bank. And today we're going to be sorting and getting the food organized for the actual food giveaway tomorrow. I'm over at, let's see if I can get the sign. Yeah, Hope on Union near USC. So I'm excited. Let's get into it, y'all. Yeah, the corner of 23rd and Union, right? And we're getting ready to go.
This is all the sorting, like the team.
Okay, and so they're all volunteers. This is
Yeah, everyone's a volunteer, and this is where the food gets dropped off.
Bananas.
Wow.
We got green spinach, cabbage, potatoes.
And who's
potatoes.
donating? Is this?
What's up, one fan? Yes.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
Yes.
Gentleman here.
Yes.
Doing big things. What's good produce, of course. So grateful. The abundance. Tomorrow, it's gonna be on.
Wow.
Wrapping it up. What's good produce? Just feeding the people.
Oh, that's right. This
Doing
was
good
Wednesday,
food.
so the day
Yeah.
before. The
Yeah.
Hey,
It's a whole process.
from sorting earlier in the day. Wow.
That's what I got to take home.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
And this is the actual day. Okay.
Actual day.
Hey, what's up? Grand Rising Cosmic Labyrinth family. We're here. Today's the big day.
And this is only half the line. There were people behind me.
Greetings, everyone.
Nice.
It's so awesome. And so then all the food is put out on the
Okay.
street.
In the house. What's up, Paige? Yeah.
Little hug action.
Yes. It's awesome.
Glory. No half stepping. We got it all out here. The magic is happening. Look at the town. Yes. Grand Rising, y'all.
Oh,
Hey.
so this is inside where all the food is.
Out here.
Oh, okay.
was.
Nice.
In this photo, we have Paige and Gwenna, and we got Sherry in the background. They're holding Omniplex, which was donated. So it's really cool that she gets big vendors to support her cause. You know,
That's
shout out to Sarge for cutting.
Look at this tree, Charlie. Shaped like
It
a
looks like
heart.
Yeah, it does. It totally looks like a heart. You got the aortic, aortic vein going up. I'm not getting technical on it.
Some of the volunteers who showed up to help give love to all the guests that came. Also, shout out to Tracy for doing all the sign-in. And then this is the whole crew, y'all. Listen, Stanley, Chisel here. Man, the experience I just had working with the vegan of LA village at the Hope on Union Church, so powerful. There was so much gratitude, so much love. I've never received so many thank yous in one day. We started around 8, just wrapped up around 11:30, and every third Thursday of the month. And I really look forward to coming back because, you know, we have a lot of people in need in the world right now. And to be able to work with such a really profound organization, a beautiful group of people with just really powerful energy is like, you can't ask for anything better. Yeah, take care. You know? And my heart is full for this experience. My heart is full for having this opportunity. My heart is full for making these connections. Seeing
I was
all
getting emotional.
families. Like, this was really community today. I didn't have an opportunity to take copious amounts of videos because I was slanging, y'all. I was slanging all the veggies. I had bananas and mushrooms, spinach. It was so good. So I just wanted to give thanks. And I want to encourage y'all to come out to Hope on Union and check out Vegans of LA. I love y'all. Have a really beautiful day. Peace.
Yeah, great videos. Great introduction for Gwenna.
That was
Yes.
beautiful.
So
Hello,
good.
Gwenna. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Oh, look at you looking like a galactic goddess right now.
I know, I love it. You have
I
like
gotta
that-
level up my background, y'all. I'm in the sky, but I gotta be in the cosmos too.
Yeah.
This is the cosmic labyrinth. I need to level up.
No, that's perfect because we need to ground. I need the grounding, so I need that right
Thank
there.
you for that.
Grounded for me.
Thank you for that. So appreciative. Thank you for showing up today, Gwenna fam. You're our first guest. It is such an honor. Thank you for making the time and holding the space to be here today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I just want to make sure. Can you see me clear? I look blurry on my end.
Yeah, you do look a little blurry.
You
Hmm.
got that photo maker like glow going on.
Yeah, you know, in the 80s, right? They added that filter where like everybody looked like they were glowing.
Look, look, rock with it.
Maybe we
So
just
good.
can't catch you in our lower vibrations over here. You're just glowing in such a high vibration. We just can't capture your essence.
Charlie, you're joking, but there's some realness to that, fam. There's some realness to that. Okay. So Gwenna fam, we're gonna just go in for a little bit of interview and I'm gonna ask some questions and just let the people get to know you. Oh, look, she done switched it up. Look. Let the people get to know you and you being able to share about your process and how you even make it happen, right? So Charlie, thank you so much for allowing me to like do this. I'm grateful.
Take
And
the Leo Moon charge.
look, Charlie, if there's any questions that you want to ask, please jump in. Like, don't even hesitate as well.
Yes.
So thank you, fam. Gwenna fam, the first
Yeah.
question I want to ask, just so, can you give the people like a snippet of who you are and how you even began this adventure into food outreach, and why you call it Vegans of LA?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm Gwenna Hunter, founder of Vegans of LA. I started the organization actually in 2015. I wasn't even vegan yet. I was like vegetarian and I'm like, Vegetarians of LA didn't sound that good. I'm like, Vegans of LA sounded better. That's the only reason why I called it Vegans of LA, because Vegetarians of LA was like, And then I thought, well, vegetarians would probably want to hang out with vegans, but vegans probably wouldn't want to hang out with vegetarians. So it was like, all right. And so
Did it sound like vegetarians, like, you're not trying hard enough. You gotta go further.
well, you know, I was on the outside looking in, so I knew that there was some judgment. I didn't know how intense it was, but I knew that there was definitely a imbalance in how people viewed, you know, one or the
I've
other.
walked the streets of LA, so I know about that.
Both is a lot of extremism out here when it comes to that. So I started off just by doing meetups. So I wanted to just like meet people because I didn't know like a lot of people. And so I started doing like meetups at restaurants and started meeting a lot of people. And then I would say about a year later in 2016, I ended up having this dream where I dreamt that I was flying in the sky. Well, I know you said a snippet, but I don't know how to do a snippet.
Go. This is you. This is you.
So anyway, in the dream, I'm flying in the sky. I see this really beautiful, bright green pasture. And then I noticed this really beautiful cow. And in the dream, I looked at the cow and we looked at each other, and we looked at each other, our eyes locked, and we merged and became one. And I was the cow. And I possessed all the cow's consciousness, emotions, feelings, thoughts, memories, like whatever you experience as being yourself, that's what I experienced as being the cow. Like I was the cow. And the most important thing that I felt was like the cow's ability, just like ours, the capacity to love and feel pain in the full spectrum of emotions. And so when I came out of the dream, I was like really emotional. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, like cows love? What? And I had always been on a spiritual journey my whole life. Like from the time I was a kid, I was into like life after death, supernatural stuff, but I never once had never even crossed my perimeter that a cow or a pig or a chicken or any animals that were programmed and taught to eat, that they are capable of love. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh my God, like, did this just really happen? And while I'm wide awake, I'm like sitting in my bed, and all of a sudden I feel like a really physical, warm sensation right over my heart. It felt like there was an invisible heater there, but it wasn't like a stressful type of heat. It was very soft and warm. And I looked and I'm like, what is going on? And so I just knew to put my hand on it. And when I put my hand on the warm heat, I was paralyzed with complete peace. And like, even that is not even a good language to use based on what I felt. Like, that's just the best I can come up with. But peace to the 1 zillion power. Like, there was nothing to worry about. There was no yesterday, no tomorrow, no right or no wrongs. It was just so gentle and loving and enveloping. And I knew that what I experienced had to be real. And so I'm like, oh my God, cows love. If cows love, pigs love, chickens love, they all love. And I'm like, and even though I wasn't eating cows or eating flesh, I didn't care if anybody else did because I wasn't vegetarian for any of those reasons. So synchronistically, within a few days, I ended up coming across this 5-minute video by a young lady named Erin Janice called Dairy is Effing Scary. And she does it in a very sarcastic way to where you're like, she's not like telling you you're wrong. She's just showing you what cows experience, like factory farm cows, how we get our milk, how we get our cheese, how we get our veal. And she shows you what they do to her body and I didn't know until 2016 that a cow is pregnant for 9 months, just like a human woman. I had no idea of that information. So when I saw that, I'm watching this video and I literally see a woman. Like, I connected with her as another woman, not as, oh, this poor cow. I'm like, look at what they're doing to this woman's body. Look what they're doing to her nipples, to her breasts. They're taking her son and she's mourning her child, and he's now veal. Look at what they do to her daughter. She's going to have a life of slavery, rape, mutilation, torture, without getting any type of love or anything like that. So like, I saw all of that like clear as day. Like, I saw the same blueprint for humans in slavery as I did for this cow. So there was no separation from me. Like, I saw what I saw, and it was just the same exact blueprint. So of course, after this powerful week, I turned into one. I was like, I'm never touching cheese, milk, nothing. I was a crazy vegan for like 4 or 5 months, posting videos like, we got to end this, because I'm like, if they see it, they'll stop, right? So I'm doing this and I'm posting all these videos, and nobody's like really commenting other than other vegans that are on that same frequency. And then I realized like, that's not the way to win people. And so, over the course of time, I've learned different ways how to talk to people, how to advocate, how to connect. And it's still an ongoing thing. Like, I don't have like an exact formula. It changes because humans change.
Yes.
But yeah, that's my snippet.
That was
You know,
good.
it's really funny because it's almost like everybody watches documentary on Netflix to have this experience, and your soul's like, no, 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 we're taking you and having interactive soul swap experience, right? That should
Yes.
be like shows soul swapping with animals, right? Like,
Yes.
you know, you want the
Yes.
documentary version of this? This is a 3D version. Let's get the 5D version where you become the cow and you have a whole experience
Exactly.
as the cow. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. That would
Yeah, and
definitely, yeah.
you know, it's crazy because I realized throughout the years I had gotten like little nudges and bumps and little shoves to explain things, to show me things, but they never stuck. But they knew what to do to make it stick that time. So yeah, and I knew I knew I wanted to do something with this, like for my life. I'm like, I was born for this. Like I knew it instantly. I'm like, this is what I came here to do, to inform people that animals love, that they're conscious, that they have awareness. And you know, with that also came like disappointment, because I'm like, I've been eating these animals all this time and I didn't even question it. Like I forgave myself. It wasn't like I was hard on myself for that, but it was the fact that I didn't even question it, that I just went with the script.
Cognitive dissonance is real.
Woo!
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we don't know we're being cognitively dissonant until you get a shock from the universe, or you consume something visually or audibly.
Yes.
And
yes.
it hits you. It hits you like in a different way. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so you ready for the next question?
Yes.
So here at the Cosmic Labyrinth, we're very much about like incorporating the 5 elements into everything that we do, right? And so as I'm listening
And when
to
we're talking
you,
about the 5 elements, it's the 4 elements of fire, earth,
Yeah.
water, air, and then the 5th is love or spirit.
Exactly.
One. Yeah.
So when I hear you speak, I literally hear it all. But my question to you is like, which of the 5 elements do you feel that you radiate the most in the work that you do with the community, and then with like the food, and like you personally, like what do you feel like is your highest beacon regarding the elements? And then I'll ask you more about like the whole Vegans of LA process.
So you said the 5 elements are earth, wind, air, fire, and love.
Yeah, our heart. Yeah.
Water. Yeah.
Spirituality.
There's some water. Yeah.
And some water. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, well, if we use love, that's a little easier for me to process and use. And I'm using love in the form of how and it's always happening, but like last week I was having like a expansion where like my self-awareness just went, and I was like, whoa, okay, there's an even bigger, like it was another level. And it happened while we were working, and I was feeling it, where I sometimes am able to take on a certain type of energetic pulse or frequency from someone that may not be loving or kind, or where someone may say, are you crazy? Why would you do that? What did you hear what you just said? But I can see where their heart is and the bigger picture. So I can have patience and tolerance and grace and mercy for that experience in that situation, because I know that there's a bigger purpose, where I could be reactionary. And sometimes I can be, like, I don't always do it right. You know, sometimes I can get reactionary and then something happens and it turns into another situation. But last week I was like kung fuing some situations with love. And it was like, right, like someone had like confronted me and was like kind of yelling at me a bit. And my heart was like, they're hurting and they just need to release. And you're the safest person here they can do it with.
Oh, yeah, it was real. It was so real.
And so it's those moments that when I have these moments in the world, it makes all the other stuff worth it. It's like, you know what, this person was a jerk for the past such and such, but then when I have those realization moments, I'm like, okay, I get it. And if you can do like increase that and do that over and over, the way you can move through this world and the things you can manifest, like that's a god, that's a goddess, that's standing in your power, that's creating, that's like, that's the magic right there. And that's also love as well.
Oh, thank you, Gwenna fam. I
yes,
love
thank
you.
you.
I appreciate you for sharing that. I'm gonna get earthly really quick, right? So we saw in the video just now, there's so much logistics that happens, right? Can you give the people, because I want them to, I don't believe most people have any awareness of what happens and what goes on behind the scenes, like what you are putting the structure up in order to make all this happen. So can you give us like a snapshot into like how do you make this happen? How do you get the donations? How do you get the food to appear? Like the story about Sean, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you need to do to make all that happen?
Well, at first I want to share a little snippet. This is going to be a snippet. It'll be really quick. When I first came with the idea of like, you know, I want to do a food bank because I've done outreach for like a few years prior to this, but I was working for someone else and I realized I needed to work on my own terms and make my own hours and be in control of my own reality, so to speak. And so when I was working on this, of course, when you're working on anything you're passionate about, you can overthink, get in your head, get frustrated, because I'm like, okay, I got to find a community center. I got to find a church. I have to find a location. On top of that, I'm going to have to probably, you know, purchase a van. I got to get employees. I got to get refrigerators. I got to get freezers. And that receipt was getting expensive. I'm like, whoo, I'm going to have to do some serious fundraising for this. And it was just like all these different things were coming in my head and I didn't know what was right. And I said, you know what? You're going to be stuck in one place if you just keep thinking like this. And I said, universe, I need you to bring this to me. I need to manifest this and it needs to fall into my lap. And when it falls in my lap, I need to know that this is what it is. I said, because I don't know what I'm doing and I don't want to work hard. I do not want to work hard on this. I want this to fall in my lap. And I didn't know what it looked like, if it would be a check, a person. Like I was like, I'm going to mind my business and let you do your thing. And on top of that, I knew that I deserved it. So that's the most important. Like I knew I deserved to manifest something wonderful because I put in some work. So I'm like, I deserve something easy. And so one day I got a text from someone at Black Lives Matter was asking me if I could talk to this pastor who was doing this program with vegans, and they wanted to just kind of like talk to me about bringing in some people and wanted my advice on people in the community. So we met up and we're talking and the meeting's almost over. We've been talking for like about an hour and a half, chit-chatting. And then he's like, yeah, you know, I have a food bank. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I wasn't even making the connection, but I knew there was something special about him. Like I felt it when we were texting. I said, there's something special about this man. I don't know what it is, but I felt it in my heart. And I said, yeah, I said, oh, that's interesting because I'm trying to create a vegan food bank. He was like, you know, asked me how far I got. And he was like, well, why don't you just take over like part of my food bank and take over one of the weeks? I got employees, I got freezers, I got refrigerators, I got trucks. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I was like, and I was
Manifest came strong. Manifest came strong.
I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, this the one. And I was like, I can't, but like he had everything. I didn't have to get the location, didn't have to fundraise for this, that, and the other. He has employees that I have access to. Like, it was absolutely amazing. So from there, doing a lot of like research, learning about, which I'm still learning about, food distribution. Because at first I was going to grocery stores, knocking on their door saying, hey, can I have your excess? And I was always a day late. someone else is doing it, like they were already giving their stuff out. So I'm like, what the heck? And then I ended up coming across some information through a referral with a food distribution company that houses different products for companies. And I said, oh, this is the route, because one, they have the capacity to do a large quantity. Two, we can go pick it up or they can drop it off. So learning about food distribution, researching companies, sending out emails, like that has been learning about food waste along the way, which is not an area I expected to learn about, but I'm learning about like food waste and how it's a huge, huge issue. And just, working with your community, which is what I'm in the process of doing now, because I made sure that everything was kind of quiet. Hey, kitty cat.
Like 3 cat people.
Yes, yes.
Mine is walking across the couch over there. Hey, China. She might hear. I think I might be able to do a little debut. Hold on.
Yes, mommy.
Do a debut.
Yes, China.
Hi, China.
Oh, lioness. Yes.
She looking like, get off of me.
Leave me alone. I'm not your dog. I'm a cat.
But it's funny, this morning, like 5 this morning, she's ready to snuggle. I'm like, not right now, please.
Yeah. Snuggle at the wrong times.
It's always on their time. They rule us.
Right?
Yep.
But yeah, so just like learning about all of this, which is overwhelming, but also too, I love learning like a new industry. So it's not like I'm just like in the same space of veganism. It's like I'm learning about an entirely new industry. And I'm taking my learning to like slow it down, take my time a little bit while I'm learning these different things. But starting this organization, it's like even though I've had it since 2015, it was just like for fun, like it wasn't, I didn't have I had a logo, but it was some stuff I pulled off the internet. I didn't, I had a website for like a week, like I never really created it until now. We're actually working on the logo, working on the website, working on business plan, working on vision state, like it's a lot. But I know next year this time, I'll be in a different position where I won't be working on all this stuff and I'll be able to just kind of maybe delegate. So I'm just trying to put the work in now.
Thank you. Awesome. So powerful.
Yeah.
The next
I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did, because I don't think people really, I know, when I volunteered in spaces in the past, right? I never thought about how did they start? Where do they get the food from? I'm just glad to show up and to be able to hand the food, but all the steps that happened in the interim before that. I mean, like with Sean, the What's Good Produce, what's the story with Sean? Let the people know about that, because please share that story.
Yeah, so I worked for a nonprofit called Vegan Outreach before this, where I did different forms of food outreach in different ways. And the last thing that I did was we would go to different social justice organizations like Black Lives Matter, Black Women Farmers of LA, Black Women for Wellness, and we would have produce and create groceries and produce for their private communities. So anyway, I started off using a great referral from ILEA, but one week they couldn't, I don't know if it was something on my end, but they weren't able to do the produce. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And it was like literally like 2 days before, 2-3 days before. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because I'm responsible, for the produce. So it's like 4 o'clock. And by 4 o'clock, most wholesale produce places are completely closed. So I'm calling, leaving messages, and I keep seeing this one pop up called What's Good Produce, but it said Woodland Hills. And I'm like, I don't want to give anybody in Woodland Hills my business. I'm like, I don't want to, like I was already prejudged. And I would not call them. And then it got down to like nobody. And I'm like, shoot, let me just go ahead and call this number. So I called and he answered right away, and we're talking, and I could tell he was skeptical because I'm like wanting to order like, a couple $1,000s worth of produce. And he's like, can you send me an email from your business address? And I'm like, sure. And he brought the produce because before we had to go pick it up. So we would stress people's car out. We blew out somebody's suspension system. Like we were tearing people's cars up over the produce. It was an issue. It was a stressful issue every single time. He's like, yeah, I'll deliver it. And I'm like, you'll deliver it? Yes. And so he is amazing. He does all the labor. He calls, he checks, lets me know what's available, what's not available. And we've been working together now for, I think it's like year 3. And just an amazing, beautiful spirit.
I love that.
He's self-employed. It's his own business. I believe he's Armenian, and he's just, I would give him my money all day.
That's so beautiful. And it's important too, because the journey that you started on where you were, and like, I want people to like visually and like mentally think about this. She started off going to the big stores, but they had already, we already have connections with this. Like, we don't have anything to give you, which is like the amount of food waste that happens in like large grocery stores is profound. So the fact that they had nothing to give you, right? Then, with Sassoon Produce, small mom and pop, but then just timing. And then you go even further and get this independent produce provider, and then that has catapulted. So it's a lot of this, like doing things that you feel are going to help and serve the community, but then learning how to work with others within that small business community to really support. Because what I saw from Sean is the gratitude he has for you and the business that you've been able to provide him has changed his life.
Yeah.
Because of how often, you utilize his services and, the way you're supporting him and his family.
Yeah.
So this is just a nice setup to my next question, because working, not even working, hearting, I'm gonna call it hearting with you last week at the Hope on Union Church for Vegans of LA, and getting to see and work with the community. Like, we are out there giving food, produce, healthy food, but I got so much more than that. Like, and I wanted to ask you, what is the most important thing to you? Because yes, you're providing them with food, but it's like, I want to share with them the one thing that Gwenna said before we went out there, y'all, was make sure we treat each other, meaning all the volunteers that were like working together, make sure we treat each other with the same love that we're treating every guest that's coming to give food. And that's how we started our day, giving out this food. Every person that I saw, how are you today?
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. So if you could just kind of tell the people, because yes, there were some people who are like, we got to get the food. We got to go fast. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to keep the line moving. There's a place for that.
Yeah.
But what's the most important thing for you in doing this whole process for the community?
Yeah, that I want them to come there and have a transformative experience and leave not feeling needy, not feeling like embarrassed, not feeling shame. I want them to feel like, wow, these people actually care. And that can change your life. Coming and having an experience where there's all this gratitude and love exchange, you may feel another level of hope. You may feel the desire to pursue something or to move in a different type of way because you felt seen and respected. Because oftentimes I've been in situations where, there's a food bank and they're giving them stuff and, nobody's even really talking.
Oh no. Hello? Did we
What
lose her?
happened? No.
I don't know if she was disconnected or there we
Are
go.
you there?
There we go.
What happened? Okay.
I didn't lose a beat. I saw you all and heard you all the whole time. Huh.
Look.
You're good now. You're good now.
Come on, Spirit, come through. I knew I should have did an invocation before we started.
Clear the
Archangel
stage.
Michael, come through. Stay with us for the rest of the call, so we don't get any more interruptions. Thank you, Ashe.
You know what? I'm going to take myself off of the internet on my phone, so maybe it's my phone that's doing it too. I mean, too much internet, too many people on the internet here. Okay. But I was saying, often I've been at food banks or food giveaways where it's just people aren't even really talking to the people that are in line. They're just like, here, and just trying to get them in and get them out. And they're not getting a human experience. The lines at the food bank are long. Like if you show up at 7 o'clock, there's already a line down the block. So they've been standing up on their feet. They've been waiting for this day. They just want to feed their families. So by the time they get through the end of that line, I want them to feel good and not be reminded that they're a burden, or not reminded, but not feel like they're a burden, or be reminded that they're, you know, struggling or having any type of financial difficulties. So like last week, I tried something new. One of the people I work with, I asked him if he would actually go through the line and just say good morning to everybody and thank them for coming. And I think that also helps set the energy, because it's like, they're our customers, you know, they're not like, I don't know what word to use, but you know, when people come and volunteer, I text people and say, hey, if you post about this, do not refer to them as needy. Don't say I was helping the needy today. Like, do not do that. Do not say you were helping the houseless or the homeless. These people have kitchens, they're capable of cooking. And even if they didn't, don't put that category on them. Don't put yourself in the super freezing.
No.
Huh.
You're kind of cutting out. I think your video's cutting out. It sounds like maybe your sound's okay.
Yeah, we can still hear you. There you go.
You can still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird. I got all my bars. I don't know what's going on.
Like you just spitting that realness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want people to leave feeling good.
I love that. This is my last question, and Charlie, if you want to ask anything, and then Gwenna, if you want to add anything after this last question, you know, please don't hesitate. But you're a community leader, Gwenna fam, right? And I want to ask you, what advice would you give to those who want to be where you are, but don't necessarily know how to get there, right? What advice do you want to give them, or some tidbits, maybe resources that you want to share with the people about how to become a community leader?
Well, I would start off by volunteering, like whatever your niche is, whatever that thing is that you want to do, whether it's a food bank, or you may want to go out in March, may deal with, you know, voters' rights, or any type, whatever your thing is, be clear on that, and find an organization or two or three. I wouldn't stick with just one. Volunteer with different types of organizations so you can get an idea of how they all operate. Take, you know, there's usually like always some type of like community course or something that you can find for free through your local city or something like that can teach you about, you know, community leadership and things like that. But volunteering is really key, and volunteering with more than one organization so that you're not caught in one particular narrative or way of how to do something. If you're interested in like starting like a food bank in your community, foodforward.org is a great organization. They usually are in different cities, but if not, you can Google maybe food waste organizations, you know, near me, food waste organizations near me. Every community has one, every city has one or two or three of them. So like I have a budget for produce and certain foods, but also Food Forward helps supplement. So we go pick up things on Wednesdays from Food Forward. So whatever it is that I've already purchased, we'll try to get like some fruits, you know, some extra vegetables. So they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. And it's free. You just need to have, be associated with a 501. You don't have to have one yourself, just need to be associated with one so that they can use it. And then they'll set you up. You let them know how many people you're distributing for, and they'll set up, you know, a date and a time to talk to them. And once you talk to them, then they'll set you up from there. So they're a great organization. And even though, because I'm here in LA, so LA is usually ahead of the curve sometimes when it comes to like food waste and things like that. But don't negate doing the footwork and going to your local supermarket and asking them, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. You know, do you have any excess? Because some of them do throw the stuff in the garbage. You know, I only reached out to about 4 supermarkets, and then I got into the distributor mindset, and I was like, okay, I'm done with that. That's too much work. Let me just work with distributors. But there are some that do, you know, throw stuff in the trash because they don't have to, just easier for them to just throw it in the trash rather than having someone come pick it up and do all that. So, and I can't tell you how many times I've had a food distributor reach out to me for a large quantity of product, and we can't use it because either it's too close to expiration or it just doesn't make sense. Like there was like someone had like, I think it was like 1,000 bags, but the bags were 25-pound bags of coconut shreds. But they were getting ready to expire before our date. And I'm like, yeah, we can't do anything with that. And, you know, I asked him, I said, if no one gets this, he's like, yeah, it's going to go in the landfill. And I'm like, dang.
Wow.
So it's like,
And this is where it'd be great to have like partnering up with composting, right? Or farms that do the composting so that the waste at least is brought back to the earth and not just thrown in landfills.
yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's deep.
Yeah. And then, you know, look up, like, I also get like local grants through, because I'm in the vegan world, animal rights, animal advocacy community. So in my community, there are a lot of grants that are, you know, somewhat easy to apply for. So look up different types of grants. And like I said, I'm still in this, I'm still learning and evolving. So I'm sure if I talk to you next year, I'll have a whole list of other stuff, but this is where I'm at right now.
Thank you for that. And so people know how to contact you, can you share, you know, the best social media or email, like how you would like people to connect with you if they are, 1, interested in volunteering, 2, if they have questions, and 3, just to like learn more about your journey and your experience?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me a couple of ways via email at Gwenna, GWENNA, at vegans with an S, vegansofla.com. That's probably the best way for me to like see it immediately. Or social media, I'm at Vegans of Los Angeles _. So that's the other way, the best way to communicate with me.
Okay, awesome. And then is there anything you would like to add or share before we close out for today, Gwenna?
No, just that I'm thankful for this interview and for being here. And like I said, if anyone wants to reach out or anything, you know, feel free to reach out to me. But I'm just grateful to be here. I was looking forward to today. I wanted to make sure I was on time and had the right links and all that, because I get caught up very easily. So I'm like, let me stay on the path this morning. So yeah, just want to express my gratitude to you both. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Yeah. And I really appreciate the story of you being able to actually, you know, go into this mission that clearly was like beyond the traditional experiences, right, that we experience as like children growing up and parents telling us what to do, but like your out of body documentary of your, you know, of experience that was happening and the mission that came out of it, right? Because, you know, you realize that it was greater than yourself, because you obviously it was beyond the physical, right? And so for you to even ask that the universal energy, right, and then you were able to open up to even when you like were, sometimes our ego likes to kind of say, well, I don't need to go over wooden hills, but like, you know, universe like, no, I give it to you, go and do the work, you know. And sometimes it's like our own ego, you know, like we think whatever, like maybe that's not a good thing, but maybe if we just, you know, go a little further, like we do find ways that the universe is trying to like really test whether or not we're gonna keep doing the work. And sometimes we get beginner's luck, right? But then
Yes.
that couple of months later, they're like, no, you got to work for this, Charlie. You can't just like do it from like beginner's luck all the time. So
I
it's
love
great.
beginner's luck. I
Yeah,
love beginner's
exactly.
luck.
Yes. And that's why it's great to see kind of like your progress and, from kind of like this vision to this progress that you've made. And, it's very in line with our audience, right? Like, because right now, even to have role models for the younger audience and for the inner child, for some of us who are leaving like, corporate jobs, and we're seeing that
Yep.
people are succeeding in like following their dream. I mean,
Yes.
that's exactly what we're talking about with astrology, right? You're following your heart's dream, right? You're hearting, right? And we're, together to give the food. And, that's really powerful that like, if we can imagine, we've been talking about being able to use different currencies that actually supports, society. Like, we will give you the hard corns or like some, I think some earth corns, because definitely passing out
Yeah.
food is very much earthy, right? These are
Yes.
the fruits and labors from what we grew up, that the planet Earth grew with us. And
Yes.
being able to share that with people is a beautiful story. So thank you for sharing that with us. And hope, we're hoping to give more inspiration to other young souls out there who are having these beautiful, like out of body mission work. And we are
Yeah.
really still looking to be supported in that space. So thank you for that.
Yes. You're welcome. And
Wow.
I do want to add one thing that I do this for two reasons. One, because I feel like everyone is worthy of quality food. And so I'm not here like some people, oh, I want to fight this and dismantle. I'm not interested in dismantling, fighting, disrupting. But there was a time I was, but I'm not interested in any of that. But what I do
Double
want
Pisces Aquarius.
but it's like I want to bring about a balance and restore worthiness. But I really do this because I want people to know that animals, even though this may not give them that awareness, but it's a seed planted that hopefully eventually at some point in their lifetime that they realize that animals are as conscious and full, if not fuller, because the cow that I felt, her capacity to love felt stronger than any humans I had ever come across. So I just want people to know, that is the mission, is that people understand that animals are conscious, aware beings that are fully capable of love.
I love you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
Love you
Beautiful
too.
message. Yeah.
This is real.
So
Give China a boop for me, please.
I will wherever she is.
But yeah, I think we can wrap up the show. But thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us. And in line with that too, right, where the food is all about being able to share that food and that beautiful food with other people. I think even understanding how the food is made is super important. So we've had our own journey, the Cosmic Labyrinth, where last month we came together in Los Angeles and we did a regeneration, like a soil regeneration event where we gathered people together. Here's kind of like our website. And we gathered people here in June 25th, where we talked about, regenerating soil. And then we went to a park where they were growing native plants and really bringing back native plants and food, and really trying to also bring about kind of the conversation, like what if astrology could be part of our curriculum in education, and be able to continue the conversation of connecting to the land, right? And because the land is earth is one of our strongest connections. So we really trying to, and this is like our way of like, back in days, remember when we had field trips in school, like,
Yeah.
you have to
The
get
best part of
permission.
school.
Exactly. We have so many limitations. You have field trips, yet all these places, right? All these beautiful places are having really awesome soil regeneration opportunities, need people, kids and others who want to learn more about growing food. So that's kind of what we're trying to bring that back. And in August, we are doing another event called Soil and Community, where we're going to be going in Los Angeles again, but it's in Marina Del Rey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marina Del Rey area. This is the location. So on our website, you guys can join us, follow us to see what's the next event that we're gonna have where we're really going back. And right now we're just trying to find, this is an awesome plot of land. You can see it's really long in this whole neighborhood. And what if we can start using that land to bring the community of people who live on that land to come out and maybe do some kind of collective growing plants and vegetables together, right, in a local space. So, you know, let's see if like kids want to come out and eventually learn how to grow food together and enjoy the
I love
company
that.
of outdoors. And eventually that could be a source of, being able to come here when there's a good harvest, and then right up, at that location, have people come and, trade food. So there's great opportunities right now that we're seeing in supporting each other in like more of a humanistic and community space.
It's
Yes, I
powerful.
love it. I love
And it's
it.
all the elements, y'all, because you got the
Yes.
fire, because you're working, right? You're working the soil, you're working with the land. But here's the thing that I always want to remind people of when they get like, oh, I don't want to do all this work. Putting your hands in the soil, you are releasing so many toxins and so much negative energy that you may not even realize that you're holding on to. And the way you feel after your hands is dirty, you got a little dirt under your nails, right? You just, I feel great. Like, yes, you sweated. Yes, you got dirty, but you've released some energy that you've been holding on to. The earth, because you're connecting with the earth. The water, because you're feeling, and sometimes not sometimes, but we're adding water to help hydrate the soil, like that's so necessary. And then the air, because when you talk and you speak, right, like I like to give Reiki to land, y'all, right? I like to communicate into the land to let it know, like, I love you, I'm grateful for you. And then the heart and the fact that you're just showing up, and as opposed to like avoiding or turning your eye to it, like you're being intentional with how you show up. And that's whether you do it through volunteering at an organization like Vegans of LA, or you come to a Cosmic Labyrinth event, you always gonna get your element full, all your elements full.
Yes.
That's right.
Gather your elements.
That's right.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for this beautiful day and show. Thank you, Gwenna, again for joining us.
Thank you.
We're doing this show about every 2 weeks, just to kind of gather. But eventually, we'll do it more often. But we're still kind of learning and still meeting amazing people. So we're very excited to be able to be here with everyone.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed it. It's going to be a great kickoff to a busy day that I have. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll send you the link. We'll send you the link too.
Definitely.
All right,
bye, everybody.
Peace, fam. Love y'all.